Welcome to episode 2 of the More Smarter Show in the new studio. What we kind of talked about today was a philosophy that we use in our business and life to be more efficient.
And we learned that Dylan used to sell clothes on the street and run up to people and offer them shirts or something.
Yeah, and scare them off, really. That was my main thing.
Cool.
But
Enjoy.
So,
Break.
yeah, this is our second episode now, and we are coming off of the first episode where we talked a little bit more about backgrounds and scheduling and leveling up. Now I want to dive deeper into a very big philosophy that you live by, which is being the favorite compared to being the fool.
Yes.
You
Betting terms. Yeah. Big gambler, or it was. First of all, thank you to Foundation's Title for sponsoring this episode, which, by the way, it's the same day as episode 1. We just changed our shirts. I'm wearing Dylan's shirt.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I don't think
we just recorded episode 1.
No one would have knew. No one would have knew.
Well, I need a haircut, so that whole timeline is going to be showing. Oh, that's great. What was your question? Favorite of the
Fool, yeah.
Yeah, so the favorite of the fool, I did not come up with it. It is from the book The Full Fee Agent, which is such a good book. Chris Voss is the author there. He also wrote Never Split the Difference. But this book for a real estate agent, which now that I'm saying it, he was never a real estate agent.
He wasn't?
I mean, I don't think so, right? He was an FBI negotiator.
Oh, really?
I mean, maybe he has experience. He doesn't talk about his experience if he does have it in this book.
He doesn't talk about being a realtor in the Full Fee Agent?
No, I don't think so. But anyway, the favorite and the fool is just a concept to be the favorite and not the fool. So in real estate agent land, that means playing, actually the comp that they make in the book is when you go to a casino, would you rather have 80% chance of winning or 20% chance of winning? We would all rather go to the 80% chance table. So how can we put ourselves in the 80% chance position as a real estate agent? And it's really just determining. It's more like what's the word? Like a therapist would. What's the major a therapist would have?
Psychology.
Psychology.
Yeah,
Psychology.
Yeah.
It's a psychology of other humans essentially, and getting a grasp of where you stand.
Yeah. And in this sense, being a realtor, it's not doing those things that would make you feel like a fool or be a fool.
And the most dangerous part about it is, just like in a casino, the fool wins 20% of the time, not 0% of the time. Yeah. And that will kill you, right? You will get false expectations and hopes of winning again because you just won, even though it was a 1 in 5 chance.
Yes.
And being the favorite in our position as real estate agents means, if we can master that, it means we can be here recording a podcast, talking about it. It means we can have other businesses or I don't know, like take a walk, do whatever you want with your other time because you're playing at the 80% table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then not to be diving too deep into kind of the real estate team philosophy. That's where I just came from, so I have the most experience in comparing that.
Okay.
So I believe as a team member, you're more set up to be a fool than be a favorite. Now, you obviously can be a favorite being on a team. It's not specifically that.
Yeah.
I believe, though, when I was there, I was acting like a fool.
Right. So generally that mindset is that. So, but I think we all have past experiences of being fools. Yeah. And I don't think those are bad experiences.
I agree. It's a learning experience, and that's what causes the level up to happen. But I think the reason why that was the case was because it focused more on the quantity instead of the quality.
Correct.
Where that goes back into the 80-20 rule, where it's 80% of your outcome is probably going to come from 20% of your work. And if you're not focused on that 20%, then the 80% is going to run you wild. Mm-hmm. And that's the showing homes, that's the running around doing stuff that's not actually getting you anywhere.
Right.
So that's kind of the basis of our whole entire show.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And last episode we talked about, I gave an example of like a buyer consultation I'll have as a realtor. And I like to ask questions that might not always be asked from other realtors, like in our first call. So Do you remember? I'll throw this back on you because I've been like trying to bring you here too in some ways. But like, what's my first question as feedback to you when you like tell me a scenario with a buyer you have? Let's see if you get this trivia question right.
Wait, say it one more
Like
time.
you tell me a scenario like, Jake, I have this buyer that blah 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 blah, and they're doing this and they're doing that. What's my first question every time?
Did you set or manage expectations in the first call?
So that's my second question. My first one is like, where did this lead come from? Do you know them, or are you the fool? Right? I mean, those aren't the only two options. But
Yeah.
but like when my friend or my brother calls me to do real estate business, I could tell that they're only calling me to do real estate business.
Yeah.
But there are other times where you can tell that if you're good, you can tell that people are just doing their due diligence by utilizing you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I could check that box. I called a young guy to check out the sale of my house.
Yeah.
Not using him. I'm using the local realtor that I've known for 30 years. But at least I did my due diligence here, right?
Yeah. I checked with another agent to see if the agent that I'm actually going with's price is accurate.
Yes,
And
that's another
doing
thing.
that.
It's free to call you.
It's free. Yeah. So, and we'll be the fool to get up and of
so,
course.
So that's why I put it back on you. I'm like, tell me your history with this client. Is it a Zillow lead, for example, who doesn't know you and they click the button and they could have got anyone and they got you?
Yeah.
Because they probably don't trust you, know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
So whatever you tell them, it doesn't matter what you tell them. They will not believe you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I want to go into the know, like, and trust because that's the premise of being, I guess, in like a service-based industry where it's they have to know you, they have to like you, they have to trust you. But in my opinion, it goes in that order. It's obviously they know you first, and then you have to get them to like you, which I feel like is not that hard. You just don't have to be a jerk. And then getting the trust is the hardest part because if let's just say you're looking at a long-term nurture. Let's say you get a random Zillow call. Random Zillow call. You go show them one property. You were the fool at that moment.
Okay.
And you went to go show them the house. You walked them around. They're like, I'm actually the neighbor. I don't really want to buy this house. Just wanted to see the inside of it. And It's like, oh, great. I'm a freaking idiot, right?
Yeah. That's
going
on you.
to waste my time doing
See,
this.
like most people would blame the person, but I would blame you.
Yeah, it's definitely the
realtor's
realtor's fault going to see that house.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, now I have this person's contact. I met this person face to face. I'm going to put them on my newsletter.
Okay.
And I'm going to send out a newsletter once a week, and I'm not going to spam their folder. I'm not going to keep calling them, whatever, but I'm just going to send them a newsletter. I'm going to maybe text them.
So you stay in contact with them for a long time, and then I'm assuming they call you back.
Exactly. So now they know you, and then hopefully after that first meeting, they like you because you're just a nice stand-up person, and then they trust you after you're providing them nothing but value, and you're not just bothering them and saying, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, blah.
My rebuttal was going to be, why do they trust you?
Yeah, well, you're
still the realtor that showed up on a click.
Totally, yeah. So I mean, you have to figure out a way to kind of get in there a little bit more, but it's showing. I think so. I got a listing from a very similar thing, Zillow Click last year.
Okay,
and it's showing characteristics that would be of value to someone who is looking to either buy or sell.
Yep.
Now, for me, it was being super consistent in following up with this person, and also the newsletter, and also bringing up things that we had from our first conversation.
So they found value in you doing that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
in
back to
the
the scenario.
Sure.
Yeah. They wanted a hustler.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So they found value in that. But going back to the scenario, I have 25 people on my newsletter list that are exactly the same. And who knows, maybe that could be, if we're looking at the grand scheme we talked in the first episode, where it's, if you're looking at getting 100 Zillow leads and you're going to convert 5 of those, then it goes from 25 Zillow leads that now you've been following up with. You get them you met them in person, you get them to like you, trust you. Then the conversion rate jumps up to now you're going to close 10 out of 25.
Okay, so long-term nurture and nurse trust there.
Yes.
Know, like, and trust you. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, sure. And I agree that that's all part of it because you're their guy, right? So when you back to you telling me a scenario with a buyer, and my first question is, where did this lead come from? Second question, like you said, is have you set the expectations from the first call? It is a lot harder, and I'm going through it now with the buyer, that I didn't do that on the first call. And I tried to do it on the third time, and it's so much harder because I didn't set the precedent from day one.
Yeah. So walk me through what that looks like. What you are going, we're on a Zoom call, and I'm a buyer. We're high school friends. What does setting the expectations look like?
Well, there's always going to be two. All right. 2 calls. The first one is going to be a million questions for the buyer because I want to know if what they're looking for is realistic, if I'm the right person to help them. And I tell them this prior, like these are the reason I'm asking these questions because I'm not for everyone, right? And it's just questions about what they're looking for and why. And I also say, like, listen, you're gonna tell me these answers, and I'm gonna give you the opposite. Like, I'm gonna give pushback to you. So, okay, you really want to put 20% down and buy this house and do this thing, and I'm like, hold on, why are you putting 20% down? Like, I want to know, right? Because I want to see. I want all things, right?
Okay.
I like to be the real estate consultant or advisor versus just the agent, right? Maybe consultation 2 is more like I said in last episode, how I will be more specific with what the pre-research does before we see homes and how the process works. Lately, I've even been doing screenshots of like text messages and how that looks with buyers. Like you send me the link or this text or whatever that you want to see a house, and then I show you what I say in reply, and this is all before scheduling showings.
Yeah. And then you've seen that kind of not only helps take off a lot of tension of going to see houses and rushing the buyer, it kind of just helps you streamline not only your business, but the process of buying or selling a house too.
It's efficiency. It's working smarter, more smarter. And it's not just for my working more smarter, but it's also for the buyers, right? Because they don't want to be fatigued. They have a busy schedule. They trust that my process is proven and correct. And I have I'm thinking about their best interest.
Yeah.
So when we say know, like, and trust, that's my form and version of trust.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to tell you, I am a fool right now where I'm working with this one buyer where I did not manage expectations up front.
Same.
Now, to be fully transparent, it's a Zillow lead, so it's not as hard. It's not as easy doing it. Yeah, it's a Zillow lead, but it's not as hard. It's not as easy doing that, managing the expectation, because you're not having that kind of Zoom call,
and they don't want that,
and they don't want it,
or at least they think they don't want it.
And that's where the problem comes in, because if you don't show that, like, hey, we're not just going to go see every house that you want to go see because you're going to get fatigued, I'm going to get fatigued, and it's not going to be a fun process, then it has to work some other way. But I don't know how to get out of it at this point.
It's tough to get out of
it. Because now it's like I have this client, he's looking in like an hour away from me, and I'll send him houses every morning like I do. It's kind of just all my active buyers I send houses to. And I'm like, all right. He's like, all right, these 2 I want to go see this weekend. Does this time work? I'm like, yeah, sure. We'll go see it. Always some different reason on why he doesn't like it. Now, fair. It could be my due diligence that now I should pick up, that I've been working with him for a while, that I pick up certain things. But it's like now I'm caught in this rat race where I'm going to show houses.
He's in control of your relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
It's not a mutual partnership.
Yes. So how do you do that then?
So how do you get out? I could tell you how to get out of it.
How to get out of it, because that's what I feel like a lot of realtors are doing.
So I just did this with someone, and because I was feeling similar, and I said, all right, let's have a meeting tomorrow. All right, meeting tomorrow. Here's what it is. It's phase 2 now. What we just did was phase 1, chapter 1, whatever you want to call it. That was necessary. No regrets. We had to see what we don't like. but let's make notes of why we didn't like it. Let's go over them right now. And in phase 2, we don't repeat that. If it's too small, if the place was too small, then anything within 100 square feet, let me do that pre-research, and anything within that, let's eliminate that.
Yeah.
And you know what he's going to say?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because with that exact same buyer that I was working with, it's almost like he takes breaks. Like I've been working with him for months.
Because he's
and he'll just
everything.
he'll take a 3-week break of not answering my phone calls or emails or texts. And I'm like, dude, what's going on?
Well, if you asked him to describe what being a realtor is, he would say answering my phone when I want to see a house, showing it to me.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I would think that my clients would not answer the same way. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, well then what do they say?
Being handsome.
Yeah, definitely not being handsome.
Needs a haircut.
Yeah.
So
okay, so then let's
so that's the favorite and the fool, and we basically like to bring that philosophy because I mean we've been talking off camera for years on this philosophy, so we like to bring that philosophy with everything we do.
Yes.
And in sales, it's so effective. And if it's effective in sales, then it's effective in life, right? That's for
exactly.
everything.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, kind of looking at different ways of going about that then. So what other avenues in your life do you kind of apply the same philosophy?
Well, there's other avenues in which sales are relevant.
Okay.
So, because I have a property management company and I do the sales and, real estate investing, I guess there's speaking direct to owner, right? There's sales and it's part of that. And it's just, I'm trying to think of another way outside of like direct business sales in life. How about just like when you ever just know that you ever know you're shopping someone else? Like for example, when I was getting a new roof in my house, I got 12 quotes.
12?
Because why not? Because why not? I'm sorry. I kind of feel like a dick saying it.
Yeah.
But like
you do. You are one.
The flux was from 10,000 to like 80,000.
Someone 80,000?
80,000. I kicked that guy out of my house.
Was it a metal roof?
No. But the other 11 were reasonable and like fluctuating. And I just thought, like, I wonder if they know about the favor and the fool and if I'm clearly fooling them. Like, I don't mean to be fooling them. Like, it was actual due diligence I was doing. Like, I didn't go with someone I previously knew. I went with, like, I wanted to consider all options. But that's, I guess, one comp outside of sales.
Yeah. It's just doing your own due diligence with that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to. So then, what does when you do that? Do you kind of expect the same thing then for people to do to you? But you'll be able to know, like, how do you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I didn't really know. Like, I didn't have a favorite in my head. But then the subconscious mind for real estate agents don't either, right? Like, a client doesn't. Like, they don't know. It's not like they're telling their spouse, hey, I'm going to use this person as my realtor, but I'm going to interview this person for shits and gigs.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it's just something they subconsciously know.
Yeah. That's something that I think is tough being a realtor and doing that. Because for me, I went into an appointment recently where it was a past client referral. I set up a Google Meet. Got
great.
down all
Let's
of the
go.
things.
Let's go.
It was great.
You close them.
Then they reached out to me a day later and was like, hey, I actually decided to go with someone else.
To sell their house?
To buy a place.
Okay.
And I was like...
Did it hurt?
It did hurt. It did.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it did. Because I thought I had it in the bag.
Yeah, but...
And the reason why I thought I had it in the bag was because I walked into the appointment thinking I had it in the bag.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is my new client. Let's just talk about how to get you a house. I know how to do that. I've done 15 transactions in the past 12 months. I'd be happy to help you out. And now it's...
Okay.
Then I get that text, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And
I'm
then
surprised that hurt, though. Because it was only a day in.
It was, maybe a day or two. Yeah.
So you brush it off. It's out of your control.
Yeah. I think that's a big problem with me, though, is the expectation of what that would look like. So it's like me, it's like, oh, sweet. It's like a happy client that I'm able to work with. And now I'm closing another deal. It looks good. And money, sure. But it's like how to manage that. And now it definitely didn't hurt me nearly as much as it did in the past. So
okay,
I'm
good.
growing and leveling up.
Okay,
it's not like I cried about it, maybe one tier, but
Yeah, in the past you have.
yeah, no, well,
No,
it's,
that's good because you need to. All this whole favorite and the fool thing is removing yourself from the outcome.
yes,
If they wanted, if you did your best and they chose someone else, I would not give a shit about
true,
it.
yeah. I mean, I was the reason why I gave a little bit more. I was like, I was golfing. It was beautiful out. I was like feeling happy, and then I saw that. And it's like, oh, come on, dude. It's kind of like buzzkill. But I agree. I think for me, I worked at a clothing store for like a little bit
Oh,
when I
jeez.
dropped out of school, and I was like selling clothes. Not that one, but but I was like on the street selling clothes. And I would go up to random people and be like, "Hey, look, our furniture, not furniture, our clothing is right here. Would you want to check it out?"
Okay.
And half of them just walked right by me. And the first one hurt a little bit. The second one hurt less. Third one hurt less.
Yeah.
10th one, I was like, on to the next. And that's I think the life of a salesperson is you just have to recover and have to not let anything get you down like that.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna wrap this up soon, but salesperson, you just opened up a whole
Different thing. So we'll hold off on that for now.
Sales is
One more thing about the favorite and the fool I think that you can establish in life is the quote of early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise is amazing. But what that means in being a fool is not staying up until midnight and putting yourself in that position to now making it difficult to wake up early. And when you are acting that way, you are acting as a fool, and you're not putting yourself in the position to be the favorite in your life circumstances.
All right. I think the former, I think 20 years ago, that quote was more relevant than now, right? Like 20 years ago, like the hustler was in.
Mm-hmm.
But since technology, there's ways to be revenue generating without being the hustler.
Totally. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily waking up and hustling.
Gotcha. That's how
Waking
I
up and starting your day.
Gotcha.
Like if I'm waking up at 6, I'm starting my day with a walk and reading a book.
Yeah. I
And
thought it was
that's-
a hustle quote.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just
Okay.
doing it that way. But I think that's a
Yeah,
good
it's all
wrap for
good.
episode 2.
Yep.